Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be analyzing an Emotet sample from Any.Run, and we are going to utilize the newly introduced module of Any.Run called Threat Intelligence. So we can hover over and look at, let's say Emotet is our aim. So let's click that and it will lead us to the latest IOCs for Emotet samples that ran on Any.Run. So as you can see, these are the naive samples. Like today, I am recording this video on February 8th. So you can see two naive samples are added or analyzed on Any.Run, but I have chosen this one. This is the analysis of the Emotet sample. Someone installed and analyzed this sample for public. But since I am sponsored by Any.Run, from now on, I can do that and I can restart this analysis with better settings. Let's run this malware in Windows 11. I'm just gonna click that, click this one. I can choose where it starts from. So it's gonna run on temp directory. I can choose that to, hey, put it on desktop or downloads folder. You can do that, and you can also give command. Let's say we are trying to run a DLL file, and you know the function or the call. So you can say, hey, run DLL32 and then the DLL file and then the function. Since I am a comrade by Any.Run, I can use 11 minutes of analysis time. I think we can also add 4 or 5 minutes, so it will be 15 minutes, so that's very enough. For the networking, if you are tweaking and trying to understand how a malware works, you can use FakeNet. Let's see how malware acts in a isolated environment and then run the malware in normal configuration. You can also route traffic via Tor, residential proxy, user VPN. I most of the time use HTTPS man-in-the-middle proxy that will so that after I run the task, I can go into the HTTP requests, maybe see through the plain text data. Do that, and let's run this public task. Okay, let's start this public task. I agree. Okay, you can see there are a lot of processes running when a instance runs, but Any.Run only shows you the important ones. That's why there's a click here. So if I unclick that, you will see there are a lot of other processes that are running on the system, right? So let's just leave it as it is. Here is a Microsoft Word document. Okay, we have a password. Is it infected? Yes. All right, let's double click as if any user does. Okay, a lot of bad things are happening. I can see VMI PowerShell.exe running base64 commands code. If we go over here, we can see that PowerShell.exe starts a connection to HTTP oubane.com. WP includes and then some file. So it downloads something from that website. Right, I waited a little bit and it seems to be done its job. So let's look at the HTTP requests. But first of all, I want to do the base64 decoding. So after winword.exe runs, so we ran our file, there is another process called AI.exe, and then we see the suspicious PowerShell.exe with the suspicious command line. Let's just copy that. I already copied it, but I'm using base64decode.org. We can also use a lot of tools, or you can use PowerShell to do it. You can use cmd.exe to do it. So I'm just copy pasting it and then clicking auto detect. If you don't do it, it will show you something like this. So you have to do copy and maybe use some text editor, but if you use auto detect, it will just give you as it is. So you still need to decode what is in there, because the hacker or the attacker tried to confuse us a little bit. So he tried to obfuscate the code, but we can also see the domain names and some of the characters. So let's just copy it to a text editor. I'm using Sublime. You can use Notepad++, whatever you like. So the main thing that you should focus on is, hey, what is reoccurring a lot of times? And here, as I can see, single quotation and plus and single quotation. So let's just Control H and replace it with nothing. After we do this, you can see there are a lot of matches. Hey, it's done. Not actually, but it's around done basically. We can also do this action for this character. Now it's done. So we can clearly see URL addresses, saveaway.xspace.thai.com, the URL that we have seen earlier, ubane.com. WP includes, that was the URL that we have seen that PowerShell downloaded something from that URL. It used this domain and downloaded something from there. We haven't seen this oxupidating, but let's also go back and let's see if, oh, it's in there. So this domain is requested, so there is a DNS request, but there is no IP addresses. Maybe it's not valid anymore. The malware sample tried to make a DNS request. So some of the URL or addresses, they are not valid anymore, or they're not publishing. So as you can see, the malware PowerShell.exe, it's not malware but the code, he tried to download something from bike-nomad.com, and let's also review the traffic. It wanted get cgibn slash and some random name, and in the response we can see that it's not found. Maybe the website is not valid anymore, it's not publishing this file. Maybe attacker's C2 server has been compromised, because there are a lot of security folks that do hack back basically. I think that's it. So for our sample, let's stop this one. What we can do right now is to create IOC values. Let's go head over to the IOCs. Okay, we have the zip files hash value, but we will need the docs doc files hash value. We have all the domain names, that is IOCs, so Bike Nomad and maybe MSBC KZ, Hotel Rules, Azure Edge, Oyabana, I don't know how to pronounce that, and some very suspicious domain and subdomain name, and another interesting domain that didn't resolve. So these are, yes, our IOCs. So we can see the HTTP requests, and we can see the whole URLs that the malware tried to download something from it. So if you are applying a rule, that could be, hey, just domain, because they can change this URL, they can change this file path, they can change the file name, so that they can use that domain over and over again. So if you're a security professionalist or a security analyst, layer 1, layer 2, it doesn't matter, you want to block that whole domain. If it's not like blogger.com, you can block this domain like oyabana.com and bike-nomad.com. You can block those domains. And let's go down. All right, the only thing that is missing here is that the doc files hash value. This is, I guess, the zip files hash value. Maybe we can find it on files section. Oh, I think we get it. This document is actually written on the temp folder. Here we can see the document. Let's click that. So this is the document, and we can see the main, and we can get that hash value. So in the context of IOCs, we can say, hey, this is the hash value of the executable. And maybe if you come across a Emotet sample in your organization, you can maybe add the sender's email address and maybe domain to your block list as well. So this was a mini video about the threat intelligence module that the Any.Run has just introduced. I think it's valuable. If you are working in a SOC, layer 1, layer 2, or layer 3, it doesn't matter. You can now use that API to enrich your alerts. You can create alerts based on those hash values or domain names. You can maybe block some of the domains as IOCs daily. You can do that. You can do threat hunting with that data. So thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, like and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.